What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with a training camp recap for today, July 31st, the last day of July. The calendar is flipping to August. Part of me is sad because I like the summertime. I don't know. It's still the kid in me thinking I'm on summer vacation, possibly. I don't know. I like July and August. Sue me. But August coming around also means one thing, which means football is coming very, very soon, which is exciting. Games on Thursday later this week, which is fantastic. But let's talk about training camp. Here were the biggest storylines from today. Tony Adams yesterday was announced as the starter at free safety for now in the first rendition of the Jets 2023. I almost said 2021, then 22, and then 23. The 2023 depth chart. And he continues to absolutely dominate at training camp. He had another interception off of Aaron Rodgers in the first team offense. It was not the best offense day. It was definitely a defense day. And I'm sure when Adrian Amos was signed by the New York Jets, many, myself included, figured, okay, here you go. This is going to be your guy. He is going to be a starter at safety. Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich have said, and not so fast, we like Tony Adams. And I think every Jet podcaster, YouTuber, content creator has talked about how much this staff loves Tony Adams, and that's shown this offseason and through training camp. He is definitely earning that love by his performance as well. Also, today was supposedly the best Makai Beckton day of training camp, which is a positive sign. He was later then beat by Will McDonald, and unfortunately, Will McDonald and his speed is the exact kind of edge rusher that Makai Beckton is going to struggle against due to his size. But he started out hot, and he will play, as we found out yesterday. He will be playing in the game on Thursday, so look forward to seeing more of him. But a positive sign that working with the twos as left tackle number 2 right now, Makai Beckton had one of his better days and is hopefully continuing to trend in the right direction heading into August. Maybe the most interesting note of today, I think, is the center competition. Wes Schweitzer was the starting center, or the one running with the center running with the ones today. And it went really, really bad. He had 2 very poor snaps working with Aaron Rodgers in the ones, which just led to the offense struggling even more so than it already was. Connor McGovern was working with Zach Wilson as center 2, and Joe Tippmann was with the 3s. And it feels like Connor McGovern's going to probably end up as the starter, at least right now, unless something changes in August. That could be the case. And I was someone who's very high on Joe Tippmann. I thought he's someone who could probably come in and play year 1 and start from year 1, but that might not be the case. As Connor Hughes was saying, that Robert Saleh, I don't know if hinted is that the right word, but strongly implied that Joe Tippmann will not be a starter in 2023. Again, they haven't played a preseason game yet, and a lot could change. So, I mean, no one expected Max Mitchell to be starting for the Jets last year. And look what happened. Sometimes injuries come up, and sometimes things change in a month's time. You know, by August 31st or at the end of August, early September, we might be looking at things completely different. But possibly no Joe Tippmann in 2023 would be a little bit surprising, I think, even though, yes, you know, a veteran with Aaron Rodgers, you could spin that, but this was the first center off the board. They like Joe Tippmann. They like his athleticism in particular, what he can do in space. He's dominant in the run game. Maybe they just want to take it slow. It seems like that's maybe the play with their rookies. And again, I want to preface, everything I'm saying by things could drastically change in a month. A month is a very long time, but as currently constructed, it feels like Connor McGovern is the one on the inside track to be the starting center unless something changes. Last note on the offensive line, Carl Lawson just dominated Billy Turner today, which I think Carl Lawson will push for a double-digit sack season. I think he finishes with 8+ sacks. Maybe he does hit 10+. But I think for sure 8+. He had 7 last year, and that was the first year back from the Achilles. I think he is significantly better this year. I'm looking forward to watching him be a part of this defense. I am a big Carl Lawson guy, but Billy Turner at LT1 is a little bit scary right now. That the Jets starting tackles or first team tackles as of right now is Billy Turner and Max Mitchell. No Dwayne Brown at this point, but you want Billy Turner as a backup. You don't necessarily want him as a starter. And he's someone that I talked about as maybe being a dark horse candidate to win the right tackle job if Makai Beckton's not ready to go. or they just don't feel like he's there. But I would think and hope that it would be Max Mitchell over Billy Turner if it was someone not named Makai Beckton playing right tackle. And I certainly hope that Dwayne Brown is back soon, because I would feel significantly more comfortable with him plugged in at left tackle. But that kind of leads us to the big overarching theme, at least to me, from the last couple of days, and is maybe being a little bit of a scary trend, is that offensive line. I feel pretty good about the interior, even like with Connor McGovern, if he's going to be the starter. And Laken Tomlinson, I think, ends up being fine. And AVT at right guard is good. Tackles, they're a major question mark, which is unfortunately something that I was saying all offseason, is there's a lot of variance with this offensive line because you have no idea what Dwayne Brown is going to be like coming back from the injury, how long it's going to take him to get back. And you also don't know what Makai Beckton's going to be after missing 2 years. So it's right now that the tackle position doesn't look great. Maybe things change again as Makai continues to progress. It's still early in the summer, so don't want to completely write that off just this second. And there's also no Dwayne Brown, who is the starting left tackle and is probably the best tackle on the team. So would like to see that start clicking. And also, too, they're going up against a top 3 defensive line in the sport. So maybe give them a little bit of slack for that, but a slight concern and a fair concern because we talked at length about the offensive line all offseason long. Zonovan Knight looked explosive today. Once again, I love me some Bam Knight. I do not want to see Bam Knight go. I'm also not necessarily ready to give up on Michael Carter, and you probably know where I stand on Dalvin Cook at this point, but Zonovan Knight is making a case for him to stick on the roster, even if the Jets do add at the running back position. Looks explosive, was running with the ones, and there were times last year where I thought he looked really good, and then unfortunately the offensive line just went absolutely down the tubes down the stretch last year. They were absolutely abysmal, and I think that played a big role in it. Last but certainly not least, want to call out Jeremy Ruckert, who had another nice catch at training camp today and is someone who has stood out. He is listed as a second teamer right now. CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin are ahead of him, but I think he's going to make a push for a bigger role this year, even if it's more of just a blocking role. But he stood out and made plays in training camp with the ones. I'm not saying like, oh, he's made plays, but only with like exclusively the 2s or exclusively the 3s. I think he's further along than what he was last year. He was coming, what was it last year? A foot injury, I believe, through the draft process, and that kind of lingered a little bit. So much healthier this year. Showing a little bit of edge to his game, mixing it up with Michael Clemens, I think on day 1 of training camp. Anyway, moral of the story, Jeremy Ruckert's looked good, so the 2022 class just continues to shine for Joe Douglas. So to me, those were the biggest storylines or takeaways that I had from training camp today, but I'm curious what yours were. Let me know today and let me know right now down in the comments or on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Give the video a like, milk the thumbs, the milk thumbs. If you don't know, figure it out. Green Bean does it. You know about the milk thumbs. Subscribe here if you're new. I'll catch you next time. Go Jets.